Hi, everyone, and good evening. I am attorney Yael Brudner, immigration attorney, here today with a super interesting topic, which is the E-2 investor visa. This is a hot topic. A lot of people are interested in this right now, and it is one of my favorite visas. So I am happy to dive in and tell you everything you need to know if you're interested in the E-2 visa. So if you're new to our channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining today. If you're watching live or you are watching the replay, I'm really happy to have you here. Please, if you want to hear more about this kind of information, like, subscribe, so that you can get notifications of more events like this. Okay, so today, what are we talking about? Today, we're going to talk about the E-2 investor visa. We're going to talk about what this visa is, who can qualify for it, what kind of investment do you need to make? So what are the requirements and what is the process? So everything you need to know about the investor visa. And if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. And if you are interested in receiving our guide to E-2 visas, a complete guide for interested investors, potential E-2s, and then feel free to write us in the comments, say me, or I'm interested in the guide or free guide or whatever you say. We will make sure that you get your guide sent to you. Okay, so let's dive in. What is the E-2 investor visa? What is it? And why is it so awesome? So the E-2 investor visa is a visa that's available for nationals of certain countries that are interested to come to the United States to work here in their own business. Right? So it's either to come to work at their business that they are establishing, a new business, or if they would like to purchase an existing business and come work here in that business. Okay, with an E-2 visa, you can live here, you can work here, and so can your family. So your family, your spouse can receive a work permit, your children up to age 21 can live here in the US. And it's a great option because, well, there's a number of reasons. The main reason it's a great option is that it is renewable indefinitely. So there's no limits to how often you can renew your visa. It's given from 2 to 5 years, depending on what country you are, and you can renew it again and again. In fact, we have clients that have been on E-2s for decades, right? They've just kept renewing their visas and they're super happy here. Another great benefit of the E-2 visa is that it's relatively quick processing times. Again, nothing in the world of immigration is really quick, but relatively quick. Within 3 to 12 months, you can already be here in the US with your visa, running your business, working here, and really starting your new life in the US. Another thing that's great about the E-2 visa, like I said, your spouse will receive an open work permit, can work here in the US, and your children can study here, live here up until age 21. The E-2 visa is one of those visas that really is durable because it survived a lot of ups and downs that happened with different administrations here in the US. So even in times where a lot of other visas were stopped or canceled or paused, the E-2 were kept going, right? So the United States government has a strong interest in approving these E-2s, bringing in investors to the United States with funds to create business, to create jobs. It's really a win-win for the investor and also for the local economy and the global economy here in the US. Okay, so one of the biggest questions that I get asked all the time is investor visa. So what's the deal with investment and how much do I need to invest? So investment is required with the investment visa. However, the investment actually is not defined in the law. So the law does not require a minimum amount to qualify for this kind of visa. And it really depends on what business you are intending to establish in the United States, right? So for certain businesses, you would need to invest larger amounts, whereas for smaller businesses or maybe service-based business, certain types of businesses do not require big startup costs, right? Generally speaking, right, we like to say that we prefer to have an investment of at least $100,000, okay, in your business. The reason why we're saying 100K is because we want to show the embassy, the government, immigration, that this is a serious investment, that the investor has invested a substantial amount of funds in relation to their specific business. Saying that, we have successfully obtained E-2 visas even for lower investments. I think the lowest we did was about 65,000. And sometimes for some businesses, that's sufficient. You can show that that is substantial for your business, right? So it really depends on the actual business. And I always give this example. It's actually also in the regulations, this example that, a big factory, if you're coming here to open a big factory, a big manufacturing enterprise, right? Then you would need a big warehouse. You would need trucks. You would need employees. You would need equipment, machinery, right? If you want to open a factory here in the US, 100K probably is not going to be enough. It won't be substantial in relation to the business in total. But on the other end, if you're, for example, if you want to start a marketing agency or consultancy, right? Then what do you need, right, to start, to open your door? You need a phone, you need your computer, and you need internet, right? So 100K for a business like a marketing consultancy is actually substantial. It's significant, right? So it really goes down to going in and figuring out what your specific business is. Okay. Another major thing to know, and I mentioned this a little bit in the beginning, is that you have to be a member of a national of a treaty country to qualify for this visa. So we have that requirement of the investment, but the first requirement actually is that you have to be a treaty country national. Okay, so there's over 70 countries, I think it's 79 last time I counted, that are eligible for E-2s. These are countries that have a treaty. They have an agreement with the United States of commerce, and through this agreement, this visa is permitted. Okay, so we talked about what the E-2 visa is. We talked about that you have to be a member of a treaty country, a national of a treaty country, meaning you have to have a passport, citizenship from a treaty country. We talked about the investment amount. Let's talk a little bit about what kind of business can you open? Can you start or can you purchase on the E-2? Also a super common question. That's my favorite part. My favorite part is that there's no specific industry or field that is required to be in with the E-2 visa. Really, you can start any business in any field as long as it is not a passive investment. As long as it's a real and active business, you can go for it. So you're looking at anything from restaurants, retail, service-based, providers, accounting, bookkeeping, marketing, attorneys, medical services, physical therapy. We're talking about dog grooming, food trucks, really property management companies, so many different ideas, and it's really nice to be able to support so many different kind of entrepreneurs with different passions. So if there's something that you're interested in and you've always wanted to start a business in, really this could be a great opportunity for you. Okay. Now this is so much information. If this is interesting for you, if you're watching the replay or if you're watching us live, drop us a comment, say you want the free guide, and I will make sure, my team will make sure that you will get our free E-2 visa guide. We have one, kind of summarizes all of this, all these requirements in an easy online format. Okay. Perfect. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the process. How do you apply for the E-2? Okay, so the E-2 is a visa. Generally, you would apply for it at a U.S. embassy or consulate in your home country. That's the general case, and you will request directly, you would apply for the visa directly from the U.S. consulate. The process involves submitting the application, the packet, showing that you've made your investment, that you have an active business here in the U.S. that is just waiting for you, right? That's either already up and running or it's almost up and running, waiting for you to get your visa. Okay, so it's either you can do it through the US Embassy, which is the recommended way, the best practice, or you can actually do it here in the US. So if you are in valid status and you are in a different non-immigrant status, a different temporary status, for example, you're a tourist or you're a student or in a different business or work visa, and you are in status, then you will be actually permitted to apply for change of status. Not necessarily always our recommendation, better to go get the visa first, but it's an option, right? And it's available. Okay, folks, so that was the E-2 in the nutshell. In a nutshell, we didn't talk about all the requirements. There's more, but this is basically the main bulk of what you need to know, big picture. Now, if you're interested, you want to get a copy of our complete guide for E-2 investors, send us a comment here below, write a comment, DM us, say free guide, and my team will make sure that you get it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out anytime, write us a DM or a comment, and we promise to get to you. So thanks for joining. Until next time, I'm Immigration Attorney Yael Brudner. Talk to you soon.